I'd like to welcome you to one of the first WeatherWorks briefings. Now, we're going to be doing this over the course of the year when we have some storms coming up, or if we want to talk about some long-range features. I'm meteorologist Mike Mahalik, and we're going to go over what's been going on with this winter so far because we've been getting a lot of questions about where winter has been. I mean, it's been mild, there hasn't been much snow since October. So this is what's been happening. You're looking at a map right now of November through December. And basically, you're looking at the blues and purples being cold anomalies or colder temperatures, and the yellows and reds are mild temperatures. Now, you can see here through November and December, we had cold temperatures locked up around the North Pole, and all this mild Pacific air has been flowing over the continental U.S. Now, what's been causing this is basically the positive Arctic oscillation. And this is what happens in a positive Arctic oscillation, where you have the cold air here, warm air over the U.S. Now, we saw last year that the sun was linked very closely to the positive Arctic oscillation and negative AO. And basically, when there was high solar activity, we had a positive AO. When there was a low solar activity, we had a negative AO. So let's see what happened with the sun over this period from November to December. So we'll pull up this solar graph. Okay, now right about here is November, and through here is about December. Now you can see there was a spike in solar activity as far as the sunspot numbers and also the solar flux over that 2-month span. Now, as you can see here, if we go back, we had a positive AO, and we had the cold air here, warm air across the U.S. Now, it looks like we're starting to go down to a more lower activity sun, which is starting to happen over the last half of December into early January. You can see there's a decline here in the sunspot number and also the solar flux. You can even see here at the end that it looks like it might be going down again. And that's a good sign. That means we could be heading into a negative Arctic oscillation. And now what does that look like? Now, a negative Arctic oscillation we had the beginning of last winter. And this is the map from then. We had warm anomalies all over the poles, and we had all this cold air rushing into the continental U.S., keeping us cold and snowy. So with the solar radiation going down, we can expect that maybe we're going to have a negative Arctic oscillation setting up, and we'll get this cold pattern. So what else can support this? Well, we've been starting to see it in some of the model guidance. This is the GFS ensemble from America, and we're starting to see this warmer air getting pumped over the poles, and we're starting to see, as you can see here, the cold air getting into the eastern half of the U.S., and you also see, this warm air trying to pump up towards Greenland. So this could mean a good sign, and this is towards mid-January. So do we have any other support for this? We do, because we looked over at the European ensemble members, and this is what we got from them. We see that, hey, we got the warm air pushing up towards the poles here from over in Alaska and over in Greenland. So that's squeezing all that cold air back down. You can see that we're getting into an active cold pattern over the U.S. Is there any other support? Absolutely. We have the Canadian model is also doing the same thing, pushing this warm air up into the poles, trying to do the thing over by Greenland and pushing that up towards the poles, but it's not quite as significant. But you can still see that it looks like we're getting into a more stormy, colder pattern over the eastern U.S. Now, one of the models that we like to trust for storm guidance is the European model, the operational model. And this is what it is showing towards the middle of January. Alright, so we see the warm anomalies getting pushed way up towards the poles from either side in Greenland and in Alaska, and the cold air has nowhere to go except for down into the United States. And it looks like we're going to be into a stormy pattern, and this is around the 16th or so, 15th, 16th of January. So expect this pattern to turn around, this warm, mild pattern We're going to see this turn to colder and possibly more snowy as we head into middle January through the end of January, probably into early February. From there, we're going to have to see how everything else sets up. But for now, expect winter to start coming around and showing its face coming towards the end of the month here. So we'll be updating this more frequently, and hopefully we'll have some storm briefings to be coming across to you guys on Facebook and also on YouTube.